My apologies. I switched to a different hotspot, so maybe this one will be better. Hopefully. Okay. All right. So the biggest difference between the plays from the religious plays between Spain and the religious plays between like what we talked about in the medieval period in England is that they were done by professional actors, right? We didn't have that in medieval England. We had monks and priests doing the plays. We had, just everyday people doing the plays, but we never actually got to the point where professional actors were doing these um, religious scripts. So in Spain, right away, they get professional actors to do them. All right, there's 4 types of plays. Victoria, can you read us the 4 types of plays, please?
Wait, I can't see it.
Is that better? Yeah, I forgot when it drops. I forgot that you have to redo everything.
During the plays.
Yep, just the 4 types.
Chivalric plays, pastorals, autos, sacramentals, and comedies.
Okay, right. So the first type of plays that we have are the chivalric plays. They're knights and ladies in danger. What does that make you think of? Like, what do we have that sort of features? Yeah. Medieval. Oh, you mean like, well, medieval plays that we mostly talked about were. Okay. Queens, princesses, and castles, right? The story of like damsel in distress, okay? The sort of like early like Disney movie sort of plot lines, right? Okay. Then we have pastorals. Pastoral plays were written by, people who were super rich, who were like imagining how like beautiful and simple life must be on a farm when, you have your own sheep and bunnies and, like deer and you're making your own cheese, right? It has none of the like reality of how hard it is. And it's all about like, how beautiful it must be. Autos sacramentales are the ones that we're going to spend the most time on. Religious plays featuring around the Eucharist and also the supernatural. And then comedies. They did have some comedies, specifically 2 major types: comedies of manners, which make fun at upper class society, and situational comedies, which mostly revolve around somebody doing something like they're in trouble because of something simple, and like all this funny stuff happens as they're trying to get out of trouble, and it has a happy ending. The theaters. So the theaters of this time were very different than what we have discussed before. Ethan, can you read this slide for us, please? Are you there? It's like a seance in here again. What about Kennedy? Are you here? Can you read it? I can't see any of you, so. Justice. No, I didn't call you, but yeah, go ahead. Thank you. Thank you, Aaliyah.
Okay, so women and men separated. separated. Opposite genders could only sit together in box seats and had to prove that they were members of the same family. Plays scheduled every day. No plays were on Saturday, though. Audiences were very loud, lively, and often shouted, whistled, and sometimes threw fruit.
Yeah, okay. So we have this situation, much like we did in France and in England, where they have people who are standing to watch the plays sometimes. But more likely, they were sort of sitting and almost like in a church with like there's a aisle between them. So men had to sit on one side and women had to sit on the other. If you wanted to sit together, you could sit together in a box seat, but you actually did have to prove that you were all like from the same family. Even though women could go to the theater and often did, they often wore masks just sort of to like disguise themselves. Why, I'm not entirely sure. So we have plays every day of the week except for Saturday. And this is not a negative thing about the audiences being like really loud. This is like it was kind of encouraged. You wanted to have the audience to respond because that's how you knew that they were interested. Um, Even the throwing of like fruit on stage, whereas we discussed it sort of mostly in a negative context in France, this was still sort of a positive thing in Spain. So really the most interesting thing about this is that they had plays every day of the week except Saturday, and that you had to be separated by gender if you were going to go see the show by yourself. So here's a big number. We talked about that this was approximately 100 years. We have 35,000 plays estimated being written during that time. So a lot of plays written in a 100-year period. Some of these plays, like some of these playwrights, there's so many things to go through that there are whole sections of like playwrights that have never been written about. So if you were really interested in theater and theater history and you're fluent in Spanish, this would be like the perfect thing for you because you could translate some of those plays and write about them for the very first time because we just simply can't get to them all. So we're going to watch like about 5 minutes of a crash course, or we're going to try to. I'm going to give you the link and I'm going to tell you what time to start it at just in case, because who knows what will happen when we play it. But as you watch, I want you to think about these questions. What is different about these playwrights and these plays? And which play of these playwrights would you want to learn more about? So here's the link to the video. You're going to start at approximately like 6. I think it's, is that right? Let's do 6:15. Okay. I'm sorry? A sharpener? There's one that's not plugged in if you want to. Here, let me. 6:15. Yeah. Yeah. Is there a plug over near that little, or maybe just right out in the hall? There might be a plug right out there. Okay, then I'll also show it. Yeah, I'll also show it. It's just if you're not on campus, go ahead and watch it. Yes. All right, so here we go.
Spanish Golden Age, or Siglo de Oro. And guess what? We have most of them. There are so many that scholars haven't even studied them all. It's like Frank Zappa records or R.L. Stein novels. Fans of the Spanish Golden Age are spoiled for choice. Cervantes, when he wasn't writing both parts of Don Quixote, wrote some great plays. So did Tirso de Molina, who gave us our version of the Don Juan legend. But today, we're going to take a brief look at two dramatists, Felix Lope de Vega and Pedro Calderón de la Barca. Lope was born in Madrid in 1562. Cervantes called him the phoenix of wits for his unparalleled output. He's one of the most prolific literary figures in all of history, having written nearly 1,000 plays, of which we have 450. He also wrote 3,000 sonnets. Shakespeare only wrote 154. What a slacker. Remember how I said that most Spanish plays were about love and honor? Yeah, that was because of Lope. That's his bag. He was into juicy female roles, funny low-life characters, and suspenseful plots that magically end happily. A few of his plays are still performed, including Fuente Ovejuna, or The Sheep Well, where some abused villagers come together to kill a rapey ruler. More elegant. They have really beautiful poetry. So we're going to look more closely at one of Calderón's plays.
When school isn't a place you have to be, why not go to school where remote
1630.
All right, here we go again with actual audio this time.
Siglio de Oro. And guess what? We have most of them. There are so many that scholars haven't even studied them all. It's like Frank Zappa records or R.L. Stein novels. Fans of the Spanish Golden Age are spoiled for choice. Cervantes, when he wasn't writing both parts of Don Quixote, wrote some great plays. So did Tirso de Molina, who gave us our version of the Don Juan legend. But today, we're going to take a brief look at two dramatists, Felix Lope de Vega and Pedro Calderón de la Barca. Lope was born in Madrid in 1562. Cervantes called him the phoenix of wits for his unparalleled output. He's one of the most prolific literary figures in all of history, having written nearly 1,000 plays, of which we have 450. He also wrote 3,000 sonnets. Shakespeare only wrote 154. What a slacker. Remember how I said that most Spanish plays were about love and honor? Yeah, that was because of Lope. That's his bag. He was into juicy female roles, funny low-life characters, and suspenseful plots that magically end happily. A few of his plays are still performed, including Fuente Ovejuna, or The Sheep Well, where some abused villagers come together to kill a rapey ruler. Calderón, born in 1600, eventually became even more popular than Lope. We have 100 of his plays, and 80 of those were autos sacramentales. For more than 30 years, his autos were the only ones performed in Madrid, and they are beautiful. In terms of secular plays, he specialized in cape and sword comedies and philosophical dramas. His plays aren't as light or eventful as Lope's, but they are more thoughtful and often more elegant. They have really beautiful poetry. So we're going to look more closely at one of Calderón's plays, 1635's Life is a Dream, or La Vida es Sueño. Let's dream together, Thought Bubble. A woman, disguised as a man, is wandering through the hills of Poland, as you do, when she finds a man chained to a tower. That beardy guy is Segismundo. It turns out that he is the heir to the Polish throne. Congrats! Meanwhile, back at the palace, King Basilio is conveniently explaining why he had to chain a dude up. When Segismundo was born, the king received a prophecy that Segismundo would kill him and destroy the country. So he tried to prevent it. Haven't we seen this in Greek tragedy somewhere? King Basilio has decided to give Segismundo a chance. He has a tutor drug Segismundo and carry him to the palace. When Segismundo wakes up, he's told that he's a prince and should go and do some princely things. And it doesn't go so well. He gets lustful, he gets angry, he throws a servant off of a balcony, he challenges a nobleman to a duel. So the king has him sedated again and returned to his tower. Segismundo wakes up believing that his time at the palace was just a dream. He tells his tutor about the dream, and the tutor tells him that even in dreams, we have to try to act nobly and not throw people off balconies. The people find out about the king's experiment and that they have a prince. They rebel because succession is super important to them, I guess, and Segismundo gets a chance for revenge and his royal right. But Segismundo spares the king. So the king, realizing that Segismundo has changed, acknowledges him as a son and heir, and Segismundo promises to behave with goodness and virtue, asleep or awake. Thanks, Thought Bubble. At the end, Segismundo says, "What is life? A frenzy. What is life? An illusion, a shadow, a fiction. And the greatest good is small, for all of life is a dream, and dreams are only dreams." It's nice, right? This is a religious allegory based on the idea that life is a dream until death wakens us to a greater life with God. It's also an invitation to us, the audience, to think about our own lives and how we should conduct them, whether we're directing our actions towards an eventual heaven or working towards making life better here on Earth. Calderón died in 1681, and the golden age of Spanish theater kind of died with him. But don't start crying into your mantilla just yet, because next time we're going to drop in on France, where neoclassicism, based on some pretty weird readings of Aristotle, is going strong.
Okay, so let's go back to our questions, okay? So what is different about these playwrights than what we've discussed before, the people we've talked about before? It's okay. What's different about these playwrights? Nope, it's just they achieved more? Yeah, that's a good point, right? I mean, they're definitely writing a lot more. What do you think that means if they have the time to write all of these plays? They're either rich or poor. Okay. Take a look at the pictures that they use for a couple of them. This is, yes, different accomplishments, right? They have too much time. Well, I mean, not really, but look at this picture of Tirso de Molina. What do you think his job is? Look at the picture. A messenger? No? Yep. He's not a messenger, no. The green thing reminds me of a green screen, yeah. Let me find a different picture of him and see if that will help. I mean, not a picture, but yeah, let me find a different one and see if maybe that sort of gives you an idea about him. Here's another image that someone made of him. Yeah, there we go. He's actually, I think we have more Spanish playwrights. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we have definitely more that we know about because they put their name on everything, right? So yeah, Tirso de Molina was a Catholic, was he a bishop? No, he was a monk. He was a monk, okay? So he was actually in the church, right? A lot of these playwrights during this time are actually like writing is their full-time job. Oh, you okay? Okay. Writing is their full-time job. That's how they're able to write so much. They're getting paid to write. Okay. Does that make sense? So, okay, it's all right. So yeah, they're getting paid to write. This is their job. So they have a lot of time to do this, right? What about the plays? What's different about the plays than what we've discussed previously? Other than the sheer number of plays. Oh, yes, about love and honor. That's definitely one of them, right? We have a new genre that we just talked about with the pastorals, right? Cape and sword comedies. He doesn't go into detail about that, but it's basically comedies that were about knights and soldiers. Okay. They mentioned very briefly Don Quixote. Has anybody ever heard of Don Quixote before? So it was a novel that's about romance, right? It's about this adventure. It's about people who are living this like incredible life. Okay. This is really something that is going to come back in full force when we discuss romanticism. Okay. It starts here in the Spanish Golden Age, right? Because they're sort of romanticizing the idea of traveling from place to place and what it's like to be, a soldier and what it's like to get to go anywhere that you want. Last question is, are there any of these playwrights that you find particularly interesting that you think you would want to read more about, learn more about? The pastorals, yeah, they're very fun. There's a lot of operas that are based off of these pastoral plays. You're probably the most familiar with the ones that are sort of the chivalry ones because they have sort of grown into like, any sort of the ones about the supernatural. Yeah. The chivalric plays have sort of grown into, really any genre where you have like somebody in trouble and someone who's getting saved, right? Okay, so here is your assignment. And so this is not due today, and I need to change that. I think in Schoology I have it down wrong. It's actually going to be due tomorrow, okay? So I'm going to give you the link that I want you to take a look at. It's a very cool website. And if you go, you can read it, but if you go down at the, oh, sorry, Maya, I just sent that to you. If you go down to the bottom, what you see is a 3D map of what these things look like. So Google has provided us like a 3D map of this, okay? Use that in the image gallery below. Move around in there, take a look at it, and then I want you to pick a view that you find interesting, and you're going to draw a picture based on that. So you could do it from up above if you want. You can do from like the back, looking towards the stage. You could do a picture from what it would look like standing on stage, okay? And you have until tomorrow at midnight to submit that picture. So I'm going to give you, let's see, we've got like 20 minutes. I'm going to give you about 15 minutes to get started on this, and then we'll move on to the exit ticket. Okay. So in the next 15 minutes, if you have any questions, speak up and let me know. And I'm going to change the when this is due so that it's not due until tomorrow for you. So you have some extra time on it. There we go. So yeah, read part of the article, but the most important part is down below when you have the images and you have the Google sort of map and the interactive video where you can really look around and see what these looked like. So this is, I also think it's interesting at the bottom, they say that right now, if you went to go see this, you could pay 5 to 7 euros to tour this and watch a play here. So it's pretty, it's not super expensive if you, even to this day, if you want to go see a show in one of these. So take the next 15 minutes to work on this, okay? And then we'll come back and we will do the exit ticket. And I will be right back. Okay, so there's a link again, just in case you missed it. But yeah, if you even want to just like find a picture that you think like really sort of demonstrates what, like a good view of this and sort of sketch that out, you can do that too. Because some of the photos are are at a pretty cool angle. Like the one, I really like the one that's taken from the stage, looking out at like where the seats are. So in about 8 minutes, we'll go ahead and move over to the exit ticket. All right. I just wanted to give you a little bit of time, at least maybe to pick out what picture you think you might want to base your drawing off of or get started. Excellent. I just spotlighted Victoria here. She has drawn, looks like the view from the stage. Excellent. Perfect example, Victoria. Good work. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the exit ticket for today. So if you go to our folder for today, this is sort of what we're going to be doing instead of journal entries from now on, okay? So in class content, go to the 1026 to 1030 folder, go to the 1030 folder, and then you will see the Spanish theater exit ticket. So go ahead and begin your attempt on that. Once you've finished, let me know and I will double check to make sure that I received it. And that will be it for today. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend and a great Halloween if you are going to do any Halloween time extravaganzas. I'm just going to put a big old thing of candy, a big old pot of candy out in front of my house and let the neighborhood kids go at it. I think that's my plan. And if you have any questions about the exit ticket, let me know. Yes, you are able to. So I see I've received some from a few people. Next week, we will be going to Italy. So on Tuesday of next week, we'll talk about the Italian Renaissance. And if you're into any kind of painting or architecture or drawing, you're going to be really into all the fun stuff that we get to talk about then. All right. I've gotten submissions from a few of you. Maya, Jaden, Jennifer, Clarissa, Jordan. Justice and Peyton have finished. All right. Bye, Victoria. Those of you who have finished your exit ticket, you are done. The rest of you, make sure that you're working on your exit ticket. Got a couple more minutes. Okay, guys. I'm going to go ahead and close the Zoom. Those of you who did not finish, make sure you have it finished by tonight. I will see you guys next